Hello, my name is Luke Green, also known as Thriftland in some places, and this is one of my special Snowflake videos where I discuss specific topics that are unusual to game systems and how to do them. I'm not speaking in terms of mechanics in this case, which is going to be a little bit unusual for me for these videos. And I'm not speaking of a specific game, I'm more speaking of a general concept. This is similar to what I did with ninjas for for designing a ninja in D&D 5th edition. But and I but this is even more general than that, and there is no specific game this applies to. There is no specific um, mechanics to address. These mechanics would depend on the very specific concept you choose within the broader concept. It is a concept that does rub a lot of people the wrong way. This being due to certain famous characters within this concept that several other people then copied in a number of different ways. Now, the case is traditionally evil characters played as heroes or at very least anti-heroes, and you get your Alucards, your Dritz Duerdens, Illuducia, the succubus paladin. That's not her picture. Dragon people, Vampire of the Bloodlines, the Masquerade, and I definitely do like this thing. I mean, this is where the random pictures from my own commission starts. This is not entirely random. This is Hel. This is Hellogisdodra, the daughter of Loki. She is a character in one of my story sets and in the world setting for Divine Blood, and she is one of the good guys. Yes, Hel, the queen of the Underdark, the underworld in Norse myth, is one of the good guys in one of my settings. She is currently reincarnated as a teenager, not very powerful, which is even more amusing. I enjoy tormenting her. Now, there will be challenges. You do not just willy-nilly pick a race that is traditionally seen as evil, um, thinking it's going to play the same as any other race. Now, this is a bad example, this picture, because this is Shadowrun, and despite the Oni being having bad circumstances a lot of times in Japan, not so much the case in other places. But anyway, we had a character player one time in a Scion campaign, and she didn't particularly take a traditionally evil type concept, but her backstory included the fact that she was framed for the attempted assassination or successful assassination, I forget which off the top of my head, of a U.S. politician. And she acted surprised whenever people tried to arrest her because she just thought it was an interesting thing, but she didn't really expect the story to affect her. Come to pressure of reputation. When people think you are evil, it will weigh down on you. The NPCs you run into over and over and over again, or that you successfully save, or that you prove time and again that you are a decent person, might come to accept you. But in some cases, uh, even they will always suspect that you're still playing an act, and you're going to. A lot of them will even still suspect you're playing an act and will turn on them at the moment's notice. For example, that was a Catholic demon. Yes, she was a demon who that her she looked like a demon. It was a character I played in City of Heroes. There's another character I played in City of Heroes. This was my Godzilla girl. Not traditionally evil, but yeah, kind of close. Um, Now the more specific thing on that is the Drow or vampires or anything of that particular nature. Another demon character from my setting. Um, that people immediately assume is bad. And even after they see you do good things time and time and time again, they will still assume you're up to something bad behind that. Look at the warden that watched Dresden for so long in the early Dresden Files books. He always thought Dresden was going to turn evil. And this does cause a problem because it will wear you down, and you got to be aware of one of the situations that people don't like about these kind of characters, which is the brooding sort of thing. Most of the time I play these characters, I play them very cheerful, very upbeat, or very serious and upfront, uh, noble, righteous, something along those lines. I do enjoy taking stereotypes and turning them on their head. This is one of the reasons why I play a lot of heroic snake-themed characters. Um, I it's but You need to beware of brooding because sometimes that brooding is you brooding, not the character brooding. And sometimes some people who do the brooding thing seem to act like seem to do it as a way of getting attention. That is the reputation that people who play this type of character have, is they do it for the attention rather than any other reason. Um, so, like you can tell, my were rat here is pretty much a party girl when she's not on a mission. My drow was pretty much the same. My Medusa girl here is a normal teenager before she became a Gorgon, and was very much normal, cheerful girl next door personality as a superhero, despite having the Medusa powers. Um, I don't like playing. I play some characters brooding. I do have some brooding characters, but I like playing characters that have fun as well. You do need to work on the story. You can't just randomly choose, and you need to expect the story to be enforced. Going back to the person our Scion person, there was a case where airport security was trying to hold her for some authorities to come pick her up. She assumed they were part of the conspiracy to try to kill her and frame her, and she ended up killing somebody by kicking them so hard in the groin that organs exploded. And afterwards, when she was told that he wasn't an evil person, part of the conspiracy, he was just a normal security guy, her response was, "Oh, well, why did he try to arrest me?" "Because you set up your character that way." You do need, and this is going back to the there will be challenge. That was going back to there will be challenges. You need to have a reason for why your character is good, despite most of your character's uh, race being considered evil. Um, you have to figure out what situation happened that got them out of that culture, that convinced them to choose a different moral compass than the majority of their culture. Because a lot of the cases, the what is defined as evil, like in Dungeons and Dragons and all that, has a moral compass that is um, tremendously different from what we consider moral and good, but would perhaps be considered similar to what a lot of ancient human societies did have. Um, you do need to work on what influenced your character to turn against that. Some ways you can say is that for some reason they were never exposed to their race's own culture, that they were raised among some other group. Even then, the people that she was raised among would probably still a lot of them not trust her because there is the belief that in real life and in fiction that evil is inherent. And in some settings, that is the actual case. I don't like those settings. I tend to believe evil is a choice. If it's not a choice, it's not evil. And if it's evil, that means there's a choice. And if it's a choice, that means there's no reason they can't be evil. It's one of the reasons why I object to the idea of always chaotic evil. It's a personal philosophical thing that I can't get around. Um, Now we are going to go to a metagame issue. I've mentioned a couple times there are players who do not like these types of concepts. There are players and GMs who will outright forbid this type of concept. Most of the GMs I've ended up playing with, I say, sure, you can do that. I get a little bit of um, eyes rolled at me from one of my brothers, but because I'm always picking the weird things or snake things. But there are a lot of people that think that monsters should be monsters and that evil races should always be evil, and that you can't play them good because that is not possible. And it's wrong to do it that way. There are actual people who believe this. And there are people who think that anybody who tries to play this is trying to copy something else like Dritz Duerden, or is just trying to get attention. Now, the fact is, this kind of story, as difficult as it is, as much challenge as it can produce, does appeal to some people. For example, in my case, I enjoy thumbing my nose at always chaotic evil or stereotypes of morality because, again, I believe that morality is a choice that we make. It's not something that is inherent to us. We choose to be one or the other. That is my personal belief. So I enjoy taking a character that has one set of stereotypes attached to him and subverting all those stereotypes. Uh, this is part of what that attracts me to the thing. Another type of story I like that's kind of petty. I will admit that right out. That motivation is kind of petty. But I'm also attracted to stories of redemption and recovery, where it's a redemption from past sins, either your own or things you feel guilty of by association, and recovery from some past trauma. And a lot of traditional evil characters fall within that category. And that's a story like concept I like to build. And I always a lot of my cheerful characters have trauma buried underneath their cheerful exterior, and I like getting the working through the story of getting them to dig out that trauma and working through it and fixing it because I like redemption and recovery stories. The other thing is, in a lot of cases, the character designs just appeal to me. I like snake themes. I like spider themes. That's why I have an arachne race in one of my settings. It's not one that's for published, unfortunately, but yeah. Um, I like dragons. I like shapeshifters. That's why you see a lot of these kind of characters in my character concepts. I just like the visual design of them. They look cool. And this is not a bad reason. So there are going to be a lot of people who are attracted to playing these type of characters just because. There are also going to be people who are attracted to playing these characters because then they think they can do whatever they want. I'm going to play an evil character. That is also not a good thing. Um, just I can do whatever I want because I'm evil. That's stupid evil. There are some very smart ways and fun ways to play evil that I've seen. I would never do it except as a GM because I don't enjoy playing evil. I never do. I never will. I don't enjoy it. It just feels stupid to me. Um, but so that's my position. That's what I'm saying is it is a lot of work. You should expect the NPCs to mistrust you on every situation. You need to have a good explanation for why your character isn't evil. Oh, and one thing I didn't say before, it is a good idea in this case is for you to assume within the party that the party accepts that you're good unless you want that division within the party, which sometimes can be fun. But these are the issues. These are real issues. People at the table not liking it, people within the story not trusting you. I did not get to it. I forgot about this. Your own race will treat you as a traitor and try to kill you. Um, all of this are issues that you need to expect to come up. But it is a very fun concept to play when you get it done right.